Danny Boyle, where do we start with trying to construct an event on this scale?
We sat down with a blank sheet of paper and said, okay, what is it about us? Okay, begin to talk. And Hugh, it's a wonderful thing to do. I mean, you focus on the best of us. You know, you have to be slightly critical, certainly as part of that process, but actually you realise that the evening is a festival, a celebration of the best of us. One of our key people in the show is an American, Sutrat Lalab. She's Thai, American, and I've worked with her many, many times, and she's great because she didn't grow up here. So those she will tell you, I don't know what you're talking about now, the international audience will be completely bemused. You know, if you're going on about the clangers and how important the clangers were, you go, who, what? You know, because you have to keep an international perspective. It has to represent us and feel truthful about those of us who know all the details of our heritage and our growing up and all that kind of stuff. But also you have to make sure that it doesn't just befuddle everybody abroad, you know.
What are the British values, in simple terms, that come out of this show? What have you wanted to convey?
The place we are in the world is a very different place now, economically and politically, compared to, for instance, the last time we hosted the Games, when we brought together the world after the war, you know, in which we played such an extraordinary role.
As the flame drew nearer, vast crowds poured into the stadium in the blazing sunshine that graced this opening day of the 14th Olympiad.
And so there's a kind of modesty about it as well, I hope. We're aware of our place in the world now. And the Olympics helps you do that as well, because it's the coming together of all these different nations. And although we hope to be fourth, for dare say it, in the medal table, you actually hope, most of all, to be in there in the mix.
To what extent did you manage to balance the past, the present, and what you think will be the future?
You've got to remember where you come from, you've got to have that respect for the past and for the heritage, but you're pushing forward, you're trying to push forward really as much as you can. That this is really about youth, really, and not just in a PR sense, this is actually about the next generation.
To what extent have you been conditioned by previous shows, and are you reacting against some of them? Are you borrowing elements from others? How have you responded to them?
Yeah, there's certain things, there's sort of things sort of inbuilt that you can't avoid and you don't want to avoid, like drumming. It's like, there'll be some drumming because they're wonderful. One of the games that we valued was Sydney's, because they rightly call that the People's Games, because they managed to generate that feeling of inclusivity. It felt like it belonged to the people, you know, and that they were presenting this festival. And if we can get compared to that, I'd be very proud. Rather than say Beijing, which I don't think you can be compared to in any way, it was such an extraordinary, awe-inspiring spectacle. We wanted ours to be spectacular, but to also feel inclusive, really, and have a warmth about it that might surprise people, actually.
Well, the stadium